Greetings everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm your host Captain Ryan. Today's video is going to be the last video in our Road to the Conqueror series. Yes, that's right. Today I'm playing in the Tier 10 British battleship HMS Conqueror. Now, before the battle gets underway here, I have to point out that this video was actually recorded before the changes to the server, specifically the changes to nerf the Conqueror, things like the damage control and damage repair ability increases in cooldown, even with the premium ones. However, beyond those changes, nothing really has changed that much with the Conqueror, and my opinion of the ship really has not changed since this battle. As the battle gets underway, though, it is hotspot. It's domination match mode, and I have managed to set a wonderful number of fires on a very unfortunate battleship in the distance. Of course, you can see there, he is not putting those fires out in spite of the fact that he is burning in at least 2 locations, and that is allowing me to rack up a considerable amount of damage here in the opening moments of this battle. Not quite a giant devastating strike, but of course lighting yet another fire on this battleship has got to make him start thinking about his life choices today. He has finally extinguished the fire, but you know what? It's a Conqueror who's shooting at him, so his damage control ability is probably going to be no longer active. He's not an American battleship, and even if he was, it's been more than 30 seconds. So I have the ability to hopefully go in and set him on fire again. Now, something that I like about the Conqueror compared to other tier 10 ships is that the turrets tend to rotate reasonably quick. This means that you can actually utilize this ship in a closer engagement gunfight because your turrets will track. As you can see there, the rear turret's getting swung around fairly quickly in order to get back on target. In fact, I've only managed to put out 2 salvos before the rear turrets get back there. Now, I do get shots out at that battleship with armor piercing and not high explosive because he was broadside on, and as you can see, the armor piercing did a very good job of causing damage. So the armor piercing on this ship will easily penetrate cruisers. It will easily penetrate the broad flat sides of battleship armor as well, including German battleships. But of course, it's the high explosive that everybody loves to talk about. Now, I do manage to take out that one cruiser very easily. He's dead. No issues there. Enemy destroyer pops up there as I kind of skirt B, manage to take him out with the armor piercing loaded and finish him off. Now, there's an enemy monarch that's hiding back behind that island, and he is causing me a bit of trouble. Specifically, he's shooting high explosive at me and setting me on fire. It's what British battleships do, apparently. Now, I fire high explosive off at that Iowa or that Missouri in the distance there, even though I could have fired armor piercing, but he was already on fire in 2 spots, and so I just added to his grief and misery. Unfortunately for me, it looks like he was able to extinguish those fires as I'm not gaining any additional damage. However, I'm taking a lot of additional damage from that monarch who is still continuing to fire high explosive at me. Now, I do turn away. I'm going to go ahead, stop firing, drop off detectability here. Well, had shots at an enemy battleship, decided I was going to shoot at him, set him on fire, and add to his misery. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push back towards C. I'm going to get some distance between me and that monarch shooting at me, and hopefully break line of sight here shortly so that he can no longer bother me. But there you can see, though, the Conqueror's massive ability to recover HP from fires. Unfortunately, I let that fire burn too long, and I took a little too much extra light and medium damage there. Wasn't able to recover at all. So, no surprise comeback with a massive amount of health. Managed to secure the kill on that battleship that I'd set on fire through fire, incidentally. And at this point, I'm on something like 4 kills in a very short order of time. Haven't done a substantial amount of damage, but so far the team is currently up on points. And it's something that we really need, and something the enemy team can sorely afford at this point. I mean, look at their scores. They're below 100 points. Neither team has actually managed to cap a location, which is kind of impressive when you think about it as a tier 10 battle. And also kind of a good indicator that both teams somewhat reasonably know what they're doing, because neither team can actually gain a foothold. They are at the very least able to know how to focus ships that are in caps to keep resetting them. Speaking of caps, though, I am going to push into the sea cap point. I'm currently being detected by aircraft, and that's something that the Conqueror actually has a really good factor on, is its anti-aircraft suite. The AA on this ship is absolutely ridiculous. And it wouldn't surprise me if somebody wanted to, say, outfit manual anti-aircraft control because of that. With something like ATF and BTF, your ability to shoot down planes is no joke. As far as battleships go, I think it might actually be one of the best tier 10 AA suites. Now I'm getting shots out here at the A cap point, all the way off in the distance. The team has finally capped C. I was part of that capture. There is a friendly destroyer up in B. That's good for us. We're going to capture that, so we're going to start gaining points. Not that we really need it in comparison to the enemy team, who really, really needs to capture A, and they do finally capture A. The other thing that they need to do, they need to start killing ships on my team if they want any chance to win this. At this point, my team is currently in the lead with more ships than theirs. They are down 6 ships to our 3. Get more shots out at that battleship, managed to set yet another fire. I mean, just look at the amount of fires I've set in this game. The enemy team now, for the most part, is concentrated at the A cap point, and that actually leaves them in a really good position here to push the B cap point, because my team is mostly concentrated at C, which means we've got a bunch of islands in our way, but we're also spread out. If you look at the minimap, we've got this nice line going all the way back down to our own spawn. This means we're not very well concentrated, and if the enemy team coordinates their shots, they could probably start picking us off one by one. The last enemy destroyer is now dead. That actually is a good thing for my team, because we still have a destroyer, and he's still got most of his health here. But more importantly, that means I can now push up and not have to worry about torpedoes. The Conqueror, in comparison to other British battleships, however, does have a much more reasonable rudder shift time. As opposed to a 22-23 second rudder shift time, the Conqueror has a 17-second rudder shift time. This means that I actually feel like I can take the Damage Control Mod 2 and not the rudder shift module on this ship and play it effectively. Of course, something I've learned is that you're definitely going to want to play in the back more. You don't have a scout spotter, but look at the gun range on this thing. It's absolutely massive. At this point, I'm basically sitting in the middle of the map and covering nearly every conceivable location with my guns. That's how big the gun range on this ship is. And that's without a scout spotter. That's without a catapult-launched aircraft, because it doesn't have one. Now I switch over to the armor piercing here. I've got a broadside cruiser. Let's see if I can get shots out at him. Don't quite reload in time before he drops off detectability. A little bit disappointed by that. Get shots out there anyway. You never know, I might hit him. I've taken blind shots before and I've managed to do it. Nope. All those shots fell short and fell a little bit long on him. So, no kill there. However, he is continuing to push around that island and my shots are almost reloaded. I can honestly say that the reloading speed on these guns, I really don't notice it like I do with other battleships, which makes me very, very happy indeed. Now I get shots off there, but before my shots even hit him, that cruiser takes a massive hit. So I don't do as much damage as I could have done, but I do manage to sink him, earning myself a Kraken Unleashed. At this point, I've done 100,000 damage, which I don't consider bad, but considering what some people do with the Conqueror and just high explosive alone, I feel like it's not the best. However, I'm certainly not going to complain that I've done 100,000 damage and I've managed to secure 5 kills. At this point, the enemy team is now down to just 2 ships, and we know where both of those ships are. They're both battleships, and they're both in the A cap point. And they have some significant issues to deal with. Number 1, they've got ships like me pushing in from the front, and number 2, they've got a destroyer also launching torpedoes down the front channel. That's going to limit their avenues of approach. But they also have ships that are all the way down towards where our spawn is, and if they decide they want to go on the flanking route, they can cause some serious issues for them, basically forcing them to decide, do you broadside to them, or do you broadside to me? Now as I push up here, this enemy battleship is going to get shots off here, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use the island for cover because, well, as we'll see, not all the shots are going to be able to clear that island, which is going to force them to aim high and possibly miss. Decide I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to beach it in order to avoid getting the ram. Now, as you see, his shots there, he's got a choice to shoot at me or the guy behind me, but he opts to shoot at the guy behind me because I'm bow on. He's not going to penetrate. But look at that. As he's going in for the ram, ram denied. Friendly teammate takes him out before he can get around that island and ram me. Of course, that was always a possibility, and he was on fire, and I would probably have hit him with high explosive as well to try and finish off that situation. But he's dead, and that just leaves 1 ship left, and this guy has basically got the entire team now focusing him down. There's nothing he can do. This battle is all over. And I'm just waiting for my shots to get reloaded so I can do a little bit more damage, possibly secure another kill before the inevitable happens. I do set him on fire. That fire is going to burn, but not long enough to get any meaningful damage as he meets his end. 125,000 damage, not bad. 5 kills, Kraken Unleashed, fireproof, incidentally, thanks to that Monarch for continuously setting me on fire, and Dreadnought, which makes me very happy, and it's a very easy ship to earn Dreadnought in because of its heal and repair ability. And of course, not top of the team for XP earned there. Again, because I just didn't do that much damage. Still though, 4th on the team. Overall though, I don't like this ship. And I didn't like the line all that much past the Iron Dew. And they're not ships I'm afraid that I'm going to go and play. And the Conqueror is certainly not the tier 10 for me. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe and follow button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and the channel, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. Patreon supporters will receive additional perks, benefits, and shoutouts during my Twitch live streams and certain YouTube videos. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play various games live, as previously mentioned, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.